Welcome back. This week, in White Supremacy. How y'all doing? Hopefully, if this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat viewer, you already know what it is. My name is Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And the real introduction.
It's a miracle.
The main attraction, Miracle. What's going on? Got the vacation braids in? Is that you about to take another trip?
Nah, I want to go on vacation, but we got to work.
Yeah.
We got to save democracy again, which I feel we should get like triple pay. Like every time as black people.
We should.
They're like, oh, we need y'all to come save this world.
Because Pennsylvania's close. I mean, I just saw the thing. It's like, I think Harris is running about 1 point. So yeah, we gotta do our job in Pennsylvania. You know,
who is this we? Who is this collective? You know, but it's your girl. I like to be called Big Blessing with the Big Blessing. Some people like to call me, you know, Mugshot Miracle. Other people,
well, you have another one.
You know, the light skinned bully. I don't know. I'm just here.
You do have another friend that just went down. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Yes.
You do know how to pick a Miracle.
Clearly, that's why I'm in this predicament. Clearly.
I mean, she did represent Donald Trump. So.
She did. Yeah.
That's a joke.
No, not really.
This is your first time. She didn't do that. And my brother.
It's your boy Treble in the last. Treble's not light skinned.
Yes.
Niggas lack saving.
Yes.
I never liked supremacy.
Yes.
You feel me?
But we're still, even though we don't like saving, we're going to still save, right? I mean, it's
like Jesus saves.
We're gonna still do our part. And sir, you have a Canadian flag on. Is that your
I'm feeling
your way of rebelling against what's happening right now?
No, my country's in disarray also. So, it is what it is. It's me, silencing all incels daily. You know what I mean? The supreme Asiatic, intelligently divine, the toxic one from Toronto, the gorgeous gaslighter, the revolutionary but gorgeous, the velvet voice villain.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
all of it.
All of that.
And yes, and just got back from Chicago.
Just got back from Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Yes, but I was handling business.
So was I.
You know what I'm saying? I was covering the DNC. I was there for the first day.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement in Chicago. A lot.
Did it feel good to be back home?
Us always, feels good. Did you get
S-checker?
I definitely did.
Let's go.
Yesterday. Come on. Got my pizza.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
I didn't get any Harold. I didn't get to do my whole
no
Chicago
mild sauce
food. Nah, that was disappointing.
I should have emailed him and can you bring back?
Oh, bring you some Harold's. I could have bought you some Garrett's popcorn if that's your thing. But yeah, and the DNC went to Chicago, saw a lot of black people. I saw a lot of Kamala shirts.
So did the DNC stand for Them Niggas Convening?
Oh, wow. Was it that nigga conference?
That nigga conference is crazy.
That nigga convention?
Oh man, these niggas crazy.
Please stop.
It's funny when I feel like that should be the episode title, but I know we can't make it.
No, facts.
Democratic Negroes campaigning.
Oh, shit.
Them niggas convening is the best.
Them niggas convening.
That's the best.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But yeah, just again, the energy was high. I don't know about you. I've never seen a Biden shirt, but like I said, I saw all variety of Kamala shirts.
Yeah.
People excited. People's energy was up. It was electricity was in the air. Mm-hmm. And then Kamala surprised everyone last night by not only coming out at the beginning of the DNC, but also in a move only the pettiest troll could love. She came on in a tan suit. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You can't tell me when they had her suits lined up.
Right, yeah.
She wasn't like, let's give them the tan suit on day one just to let them know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Which is still crazy to me that ever was a thing.
That was the thing, right?
Like crazy.
That was a controversy.
I seen who was it that was upset that she was eating a bag of Doritos?
Same people who are upset
white
about
people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Tan suit.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Fox
Yeah.
News.
Her
Yeah.
eating
Just can't
food. God
even eat
forbid she.
Doritos.
Yeah.
Yes, they were mad. They were angry at her.
What flavor were they? Were they Cool Ranch?
I don't even know.
Were they the sweet chili?
I mean, I'm gonna say they were spicy just because you know how Kamala,
Just rolling into the stereotypes today.
Okay.
I love it. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. He said West Indian and Indian spice, curry Kamala. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no!
Is that what you're saying?
Wait a second.
Just rolled right into the stereotypes.
No, that's kind of that's that MAGA Muslim coming out now. You relax, okay?
I think what Farouk was saying is that was get back for his Latka.
Oh yes,
I
yes,
want some latkes still. I still
Yes.
want some latkes, man.
If you're gonna put me out there,
yes.
no time for get back like the president.
For those who didn't see that episode, we got a mail from a Jewish woman, and Farouk just decided that she had to make us latkes because she was Jewish. It was a whole thing. Yes, it was very bad. But yes, so Kamala comes out with the tan suit to start it, and then to end it, we had a powerful closing,
From Fitz?
a pass the torch, if you will,
Oh.
from the current president, Joe Biden. Did you want to play a little bit? And to mind you, like when I was watching, and I watched Joe Biden's speech. It reminded me of the old man yelling at the clouds meme. Just his face. He was mad. It was like he was really mad, but maybe he was mad that he was forced to step aside. He said he wasn't. He got a lot of love, and he got his jabs in at, his former rival, Donald Trump.
When he talks about America being a failing nation, he says we're losing. He's the loser. He's dead wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay, Joe.
Many of you are very successful people who travel the world. Name me a country in the world that doesn't think we're the leading nation in the world. Without America,
China.
not a joke, think about it. I'm being literal.
He's being literal.
Who could lead the world other than the United States of America?
Oh, he's talking. Come on.
He's talking heavy.
Talking,
Well, guess
talking
what?
stuff.
America's winning, and the world's better off for it. America's more prosperous, and Americans are safer today than they're under Donald Trump.
Very imperialistic.
Trump continues to lie about crime in America, like everything else. Guess what? On his watch, the murder rate went up 30%, the biggest increase in history. Meanwhile,
Come on, not
we made the
facts.
largest investment, Kamala and I, in public safety ever. Now, the murder rate is falling faster than any time in history. Violent crime has dropped to the lowest level of more than 50 years. And crime will keep coming down when we put a prosecutor in the Oval Office instead of a convicted felon.
That was kind of a bar.
That was a bar. That was a bar. You can pause it right there. That was a bar. So, any reactions to? I don't know if you watch. Oh, okay, Trouble. What is your reaction to Biden?
Listen, he sounds more excited about Kamala's presidency than he did about his own.
He can finally get some rest,
actually
Trouble.
talking. Like, he can actually breathe. I can hear what he's saying without feeling tired.
It's,
you know what I'm saying?
It's funny because it's like, as I was watching it, I was like, a part of me was like happy, like that we didn't get that Joe Biden at the debate. Because
Okay.
it was really, the Joe Biden that showed up at the debate. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know if he had respiratory issues, whatever. That was the reason that we have Kamala Harris now as the Democratic nominee. If Biden last night would have shot, I don't know what he got. I don't know what they shot him.
Maybe he just got 16 hours of sleep, man. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Because he doesn't have to. Again, he is, how old is he now? 82? 81?
306? I don't know.
But again,
Doesn't look a day over
he
500.
doesn't, remember, he doesn't have.
I'm surprised he didn't leave the fight He-Man right after that shit.
Oh,
man.
But he doesn't have to. He's not campaigning. Remember, he had to go. You campaign. You got to go to all these cities. You got to get on these buses. You got to be in all these hotels. You can't get rest. And this is he's just been in DC, resting, relaxing, doing whatever he's doing.
I also think I'm not excited about what he says about the crime rate, only because that just means that like what we've seen on the ground is more investment in police. And we've been calling for years to defund the police.
Right.
And it seems like they're running on this, Kamala as a prosecutor in the White House thing. But it's like we as a community aren't excited about that part.
Right. But
what I'm
they
saying?
also did, and again, like to give them credit. Because again, I agree with you. Like we have to call out the things that we don't agree, but to give them credit, they did open the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The first time ever now in the White House, there is an Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And the folks that we know, like Erica Ford, who has been a long time person in our community for years working to stop gun violence.
Large Up Life Force and Erica Ford and the whole organization.
Now is able to get federal funding. She's been to the White House several times.
Okay.
And so they did also make that investment as well. Miracle,
It felt like a funeral, and I was like,
oh,
God,
damn. It felt like a
goodbye
funeral?
and good riddance. First of all, everyone was in
shit.
their black, talking beforehand. I feel like this should be like day one. He's got to go up there. He's got to say goodbye.
Yes.
And now we can get to the Harris policy and the Harris show, where we need to get to hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yes.
He was not joyful. That was not a joyful speech.
He was not joyful,
That
no.
was not a happy speech.
No.
That was not like the future is better and brighter speech. I felt like it was like a funeral on Monday.
Wow. But he did say he was happy that Kamala Harris was president. Supposedly they embraced at the end, or she said something like, I love you to him, whatever. He said that the best choice he made was
like-
making her his vice president.
Are you happy you're at your own repast, or do you just like
Wow.
want to come back later? I don't know. But anyhow, I was glad that they put him first
Yes.
the first night. All the
Made
people
sense.
we don't like.
Hillary and
her-
all
like
the
the first
past.
night. And then it was like all the progressive people to like sprinkled in there to
Yes.
be like, there's a reason you have to watch.
Yes.
So like that was interesting. I felt uncomfortable with like the patriotism of the DNC. I feel like we should not be competing with Republicans for the patriotism aspect. Like, why are we chanting USA? Like that's a little bit weird. I felt like it was like too much for me. I would have been uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
I probably would have been booing and then got kicked out. But I did like that they were talking about a future and a vision, because one of the things people have consistently critiqued Democrats is that they don't have a policy.
Right.
Now, I'm not always saying their platforms are good, but like I think it's now imperative now more than ever to actually tell people what you're fighting for,
Yes.
what you're voting for, and what could be a better future. So I'm hoping tomorrow and tonight and the rest of the days are like happier,
Yes.
and leaning into that joy and that excitement. But like everybody was in their Sunday goodbye best.
True.
My favorite part was Jasmine Crockett. She is from Texas.
Yes.
And I forgot her alliteration, but she
Yeah.
said like
it was with the V's. Yeah.
the villain trying to take away people's votes. And I thought that was like really, really funny.
Yes.
Because she has consistently been meeting Trump where he is. Like,
Yes.
you're gonna call me out my name. She had the bad butch body for MTG.
Yeah.
And now she's come up with this other alliteration. And I think it's showing that like you can fight, but you can also be respectful and have policy at the same time.
This was Jasmine's quote. Will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. She
The
got bars.
vocab was vicarious.
Okay, yeah.
Violate villain. I feel like that's one of those things you got to say like 18 times.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Peter picked whatever.
Peter Piper picked.
Whatever. Exactly. We're all failing.
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
We're all failing Jasmine's Crockett School of
Yeah,
Speech. But I think that was like really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that there was like a great diversity of people and
Yes.
people had interesting speeches. And nothing felt like super cringy. Biden, I think, should have been like half this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But
you're
he got to
right.
say goodbye on his terms.
Right. Warnock was really good. Shout out to, Western PA's own Austin Davis, our lieutenant governor, who also spoke night one. So it was, right, AOC, called Donald Trump everything but a child of God. I mean, she basically, she got to win in on Donald Trump. And it was also interesting to see, like, AOC, who kind of represents a squad of progressives, be really embraced. You know, they were like cheering her name. But you're right. Like day one was really about like, and I mean, you're kind of right. It was like, we're going to bury Joe on day one. You know what I'm saying? Because it was all about like thanking Joe Biden.
The Biden burial.
Appreciate Joe Biden. Yeah, the Biden burial is kind of, and then like now, day two, you know, here come the Obamas. And it's just, you know, and more star power, you know, is coming. They're having celebrities like host every night. And again, I agree with you about the patriotism piece, although it's slightly different, right? USA is different from like deport migrants now.
Is it?
Which was the call from, to me.
Because anytime I hear USA be chanted, it's always by like a crowd of white men who are about to get very violent.
Right, normally. But again, you saw a lot of diversity in the crowd. And it's very different from like, we got to deport these migrants now. There's a lot of diversity. Again, like,
I mean, it could be
being there, I saw a lot of diversity there. It was a lot of, again, I saw a lot of black people, a lot of excitement. So, and you saw a lot of diversity in the crowd.
Yeah.
I agree with there's no need to try to compete because it almost can be like really white supremacist in many ways, you know, about the greatness of the United States when we have so much poverty, we have so much violence, we still have so many people being mass incarcerated. There's still mad challenges to be somebody that's black, brown, or even poor white and live in this country. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But again, this is kind of what this is for, right? This is for like, we're the better party for the United States. You have something else to say, Canadian?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like as people can commandeer things and then co-opt them, I think like, you know, the swastika was one thing and then the Nazis got a hold of it.
Yes.
USA is one thing and then white people got a hold of it. And it was like, it just became like a violent war cry to a lot of people.
Definitely.
And that's how I look at it. But I think like, you know, when Biden was talking, it was very much giving president of the world. And
yes,
you know what I mean? It was like, it seemed a little too Game of Thrones-ish. Like if they would have had the music playing behind him, it would have sounded like, you know, probably very fitting. And it probably would have sounded like it was something out of like a tyrannical dictator ruling over masses of people listening to him.
Yes.
So it just, you know, it just seemed kind of weird that was his farewell speech.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, Miracle, you look like you want to add something to that.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
It's just like, how are you going to talk about like America? We're the safest place in the world.
Right.
And America's like outside is like
School
a disaster.
shooting. Yeah. It's like a school shooting
Yes.
every day.
You have like 8 genocides happening right now. And you're like, America's is, well, sir, why are we failing the world?
Yes.
Would have been
Yeah.
like my question. So I would have literally like just kept that whole 5 minutes out of his speech. I'm like, you know what, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone should screen that.
I think that was Biden, you know, the question, you know, one of the things that kind of took me back a little bit. Well, it kind of took me back like when at the PA breakfast, Tim Walz spoke.
Okay.
And Tim Walz called Joe Biden the greatest president of his lifetime. And I was like, what?
Isn't
nigga,
Walz kind of old?
Wait, you wasn't alive when Obama was president?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? So again, like, but I get it, right? The whole thing is because Biden stepped aside, it's like he was able to get this extra love. So to me, this was Biden kind of talking his shit about his presidency. Like, my presidency led to this great economy. My presidency led to crime dropping. To me, that was him, like, you know, kind of talking about what he did as president. And, you know, he probably wanted that to be his speech to accept the nomination.
Oh, but that would have not.
But now, you know, you're not in that position anymore. You know what I'm saying?
So like, have you ever been like invited to somebody's house and they like, oh, come and it's okay, you don't have to bring anything, and then they spend the whole time talking about the food that they created and how long it took to prepare it, and like
That's why I don't go over people's houses.
You asked me to come over here. I didn't have to come.
That's what it's given. It's like, yes, thank you, Joe, but like, sir, you can leave now.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, I don't know.
Well, he's
like,
gone now.
Do you think
he's gone?
Do you think on both sides of the coin this is like a transformative moment for politics, like in bipartisanship, that we're gonna get new blood on the left and the right?
I do think so. And I also think it's just like people are like, I don't know if JD Vance is going to be dropped as VP or not. I know that people are saying he just bringing the ticket down.
Yes.
But
He is torpedo.
There was like the New Yorker did like a cover, and it was like a roller coaster, and it showed like Harris and Walz going up, and it showed like Trump and Vance going down. I mean, it's optic. Like for Trump, it's always about optics.
Yeah, and he has to just be like. I'm surprised he hasn't put a lasso around JD Vance yet.
It's the Ron DeSantis situation. Is a lot of local media sometimes does not critique their elected officials,
Correct.
For fear of reprisal or whatever, and then they get on this national scale, and you see people like, this is how they talk. This is how they engage. Something's off.
Yeah.
But I do think that like we're seeing a whole slew of new people being engaged in politics and running for political office that is going to change the ways in which politics is going to look in the next like 5 to 10 years. I still think you have overwhelmingly over 78% of people in politics are legacy, are Nepo babies. Like think about like even in Pennsylvania, our senators are there. Like our senator has been there. His father, was a senator. You still have people like that who are engaged and kind of from the traditional way of doing things, and they're still evolving and engaging. But I think you're going to have like more people, first time people who've never been like political operatives, become very invested. Like right, they have the influencer thing at the convention. They have micro influencers at the convention, and so it's just like this
content
whole,
creators, at the convention. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if we know any type of content creator who was invited,
Oh yes, I mean, there might be
influencers.
There might be a clip floating around where
influencers.
Our governors.
Who could it be?
Yeah, our governor shot in this out. But the reason I say I push back on that a little bit in that because these white folks are still triggered. And these white folks are being triggered. Again, we talked about, white folks being upset that Tim Walz said he eats white people tacos. And Kamala said, well, what does that mean? Like tuna and mayonnaise? And they're like, that's anti-white racism. How dare you talk about? So again, like something like that. And then apparently,
there are tuna mayonnaise tacos.
I mean, that's kind of what Kamala no. He just
I'm a Google. I'm pretty sure somewhere there is.
Tim Walz basically said he doesn't eat a lot of spice. He doesn't, he doesn't handle. And again, obviously, well, I don't want to say obviously, but I'm assuming because Kamala Harris comes from a Jamaican and Indian background, that she probably was introduced to spice at a very young age.
Was she?
In her household. I'm assuming. She said she grows peppers.
What kind of spice? The cereal?
Jamaican and Indian spice, I would assume.
Which would be called what? Jasiri? That's a name for it. That's a proper classification and a specific seasoning name.
As we think about that, can we talk about how there was no
curry.
Leaning into this white people representation? Like we always talk about white people not being seen or not living into their culture.
Yes.
Why are they not resonating with Walt saying, you know what, that's just not for me?
Yeah.
But again, and then you had Megyn Kelly, who used to be on NBC. She used to be a relevant TV person. Now she's a Twitter troll, I guess. Megyn Kelly was upset because LaFonza Butler spoke, who is the person that's in, she filled Dianne Feinstein's old seat when she got, she was unable to continue to do her duties. And she was celebrating the fact that her and Harris both graduated from historically black colleges. Megyn Kelly said, imagine the white person up there. I'm proud to tell you I went to a mostly white university.
They do that all the time. They literally, I'm a
Harvard.
proud graduate of Harvard University. I went to Stanford. I went to Princeton. Like literally.
All the time.
All the
That's
time.
a PWI, a predominantly white institution.
All the time. So again, I'm
And they always preface it with like the great.
Yeah. But it's really like, we understand, like, you're triggered by the fact that a black woman might occupy the most powerful political position in the United States.
What are you going to do when a white person who graduated Howard is going to be like, I graduated from Howard?
You talking about Rachel Dolezal? You talking about Rachel?
No.
Did she really graduate Howard?
No,
She went to Howard.
Oh, did she graduate then?
Are. People forget, like, white people go to HBCUs all the time.
Yes. And again, why were HBCUs created? Because you literally wouldn't allow us to go to your white universities.
Which is...
You would not accept us, so they had to build...
If there was only a theory that taught things like that.
It's only a history class.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
People could say.
We're really missing out on things.
In the meantime,
In between time, you do your thing.
While the DNC was excited and, stadiums were filled and people were cheering and people had their Kamala
Them
gear
niggas
on,
was cheering.
Donald Trump was busy creating more lies. I don't know what else to say. Donald Trump posted a fake AI image on his Truth Social. By the way, there's a whole thing around how like Truth Social is like losing all this money. Like it's like literally like drowning in debt. And now that, particularly now that Trump kind of got back on Twitter, it has less value now than ever. Trump posts fake AI images of Taylor Swift and Swifties, falsely suggesting that he has the singer's support. So Donald Trump on his Truth Social posted a picture, again, an AI picture of Taylor Swift, basically pointing and saying like, I'm supporting Donald Trump, and his response was thank you or whatever. I don't know. Anybody have a comment on? I mean, is he's like really grasping? I mean, again, like
it's weird.
He's trying everything.
Like,
he's crashing out.
Yo, Trump is a crash out.
just mad crashing out, and it's just like, I don't know if it's going to be like an easy campaign, or if he's just going to like go all the way there and be like super violent as he loses, or does he just quit and be like, you know what, I'm not going to win. I can't do this anymore. Y'all have all failed. You're not good enough patriots. Yada, yada, yada.
I think that might. And again, so it was a picture of, again, this is an AI generated picture of Taylor Swift in the Uncle Sam costume in front of American flag.
You know what's crazy is that Taylor Swift's camp had all kinds of smoke for Kanye putting an AI version of her in a video. So I wonder if they're going to do the same for Trump.
Well, again, that's the question, right? And it says Taylor wants you to vote for Donald Trump, and she's pointing at the thing, and he reposted it saying, I accept, right?
Interesting.
So again, they're basically saying like Taylor Swift, like she can sue.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
She can sue Donald Trump. And again, meanwhile, right, Donald Trump is being sued by like 16 or 17 different musicians.
Yeah.
For using the music, right?
But
remember,
you know who is not suing
we talked
them?
about who's not?
Favi and Kodak.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Kodak Black got out of jail or prison because of Donald Trump. So you gotta. I mean, again, I understand. I get it, bro. And then he went back to prison.
Yeah.
What's the
whole nother story. But Taylor, so all of these musicians are suing him for using their music. Remember, he used Celine Dion,
right? Yeah,
the Titanic theme. Why he would use that? Because they're all going down, right? He used Isaac Hayes' music recently.
God bless the dead.
Isaac Hayes' son is suing as well for millions of dollars, and so obviously Trump don't care if you sue him. I mean, the man still has like how many felonies, right?
Yeah.
And he's a convicted felon. So obviously going to court ain't nothing.
And plus, like to major capitalists, a lawsuit is like publicity. You know
it's nothing for him. You know what I'm saying? So he's crashing out. Any other comments about like, I mean, it seems like a desperate try for attention. It's like because all the attention is focused on the DNC, is focused on Kamala. You seem like, there was a picture that went viral of J.D. Vance at some rally with 200 people and maybe like 10 or 12 showed up. I don't know. I mean, it's looking bad.
I can picture Trump like throwing a temper tantrum right now every time he sees Kamala and Waltz and just anything democratically related in the press, because it's just time away from himself and no attention that's paid to his farce that he's running.
I mean, could you say a temper tantrum is Donald Trump saying that he looks better than? So remember,
I'm gonna tell you what, bro. I'm gonna tell you right the fuck now.
Hey,
don't even fix your lips to say some nonsense like that again.
Hey, but this is the thing. Like, here's Donald Trump.
We about to have a lang one in the office.
Well, I guess when he did his Twitter conversation with Elon Musk, that also went off the rails, and it was late, and all these things happened that caused technical difficulties. He mentioned the fact that there was a drawing of Kamala Harris on the cover of Time magazine, and how beautiful it was, and how it reminded him of Melania or whatever. And so, I guess that maybe that backfired on him. Okay. And so here's Trump saying that he's better looking.
I don't even want to play this shit.
Come on, man. We're
She called it wrong. She's called it wrong now for about 8 years. But she said one thing that got me. She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman.
Booing.
right. You know what I mean? Like,
So I decided to go back.
You're
and
mad that she's
reread
attractive?
because I'm not saying he's.
don't hate me because I'm
But I
beautiful.
say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better looking. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Why are you comparing
No,
yourself
I
to a
couldn't
woman?
believe it. She said, I had never heard
you
that
can
one.
cancel that. You can. I mean,
What Kendrick say? I believe you says you see sexy rare, you see niggas bad bitches. Trying to go out there and pop ass for them. Trump said sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
but again, I mean, this is.
I'm a baddie too.
I mean, that's basically what he said. But this is not, you're not talking about policies. You're not talking about, all of these other things, right? You're saying, like, I mean, you look bad. That's your candidate.
It's not our best people.
MAGA, that's your candidate. I mean, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, and MAGA, he lying. Come on now.
Yeah, he's crashing out hard.
Yeah.
It just says like, yes, like it's probably, his little shtick, but it's like, come on, bro. This is a presidential campaign.
Yes.
But like, I think that he is trying to do stuff to grab attention and grab headlines. And
Yes.
obviously we're talking about it.
Yes.
Because it's working. So I do believe that at some point he is just going to just start doing things solely just for attention.
Yes.
And the less attention he's going to get, I think the worse it's going to get for his supporters. And then I do worry about like how they are going to take it, right? Because so much of their identity is wrapped up in this man and supporting this man.
Yes.
And like it's kind of like, you should never meet your heroes type situation.
Yes.
So as he starts to falter and break apart, what is going to happen to all the people that like literally live and die by his words?
And really part of why it's like they live and die, obviously because they're also white supremacists, but it's like they want like him to win. And like they're like him winning is what they're investing in. And when he won, it was like, that's why they drape themselves in Trump flags and Trump can win. And even when he loses, in their mind, he still won, right? You have Trump supporters running around thinking he's actually still the president, that he never lost and he was a president. You just had one of the Trump supporters, when you talk about like, oh, the election was rigged. Well, somebody just went to prison, but she was a Republican trying to steal the election from Donald Trump. She's doing 7 years in prison in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? So again, here's it's Republicans that are actually going to jail and being indicted for election interference, not Democrats. But again, this is factual. It makes me wonder if the next call will be for Trump to tell his supporters to start showing up at the Kamala rallies. And like, does he tell them to go and start trying to disrupt those rallies? Because they're not really coming to the Trump rallies. Kamala showed video of like all these people like leaving his rallies, all of these empty seats. He was really upset with that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that she is having so many more people come out is obviously a blow to this man's ego. Like, and again, like what's more dangerous than this white man and white supremacist who has powers and has all these violent followers when his ego starts to get bruised? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's when you become really dangerous, And
then like given January 6th, this makes me question what happens if he loses the election.
And the way it's looking now, he's losing.
Yeah.
I think the question is, like in 2020, it was close. And it was close enough where he could pretend that he still won. He lost, but it was close. Remember, Pennsylvania didn't get decided till like 2 days later, right? 2 or 3 days later. So it was close. What happens if he gets blown out? Like what happens if he gets like, blown out? I can't say blown out, bro. Is it, I mean, what?
Help him.
Blown out, brother.
Help him.
I didn't say he didn't get blown on. Blown out. Okay.
I think the
blowout.
latter is worse than the former.
Okay, a blowout. All right. So what happens if he gets absolutely just like if he loses Georgia and Texas and North Carolina and Florida and Iowa and Ohio, these traditional like Republican areas? To me, that's what happens. To me, that's when the violence really kind of can possibly erupt. Do you have anything mature that you wanted to say?
No, not at all.
Obviously,
I'm not going to add anything constructive to that part of the conversation.
Again, more crashing out of Trump. Trump talked about the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Medal of Honor that is given to service members. Did you want to play that clip where he talks about the difference between the two?
Yeah, this is wild work.
Yes.
Even from Trump, this is wild work.
This is super wild.
How about you play?
Yes. Having trouble getting up again. I was saying.
No, don't do that.
He said,
The White House when we gave Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's
Wow.
They're rated equal.
They're not. I mean, obviously,
They are not.
the president, and again, mind you, the Presidential Medal of Freedom was given to this woman, Miriam Alderson, because she donated like hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign.
Yeah.
She's a billionaire. She donated hundreds of millions of dollars to his campaign and to help him get elected. So he gave her a medal, right? The Medal of Honor is given to soldiers, many of whom have died in battle, many of whom or were severely injured or hurt in battle. So the two are not the same. The Veteran of Foreign Wars, a nonpartisan veteran organization, called Donald Trump's remarks asinine.
That's just like that's so disrespectful.
And it says the former Trump chief of staff and retired Marine General John Kelly also rejected his comments. But again, this is what I want to know.
when
Because-
he said that soldiers who get captured or killed
Right.
2 years ago
Right.
weren't good enough. I don't understand why he didn't walk away then.
Yeah.
But this is my piece, Miracle, because like when you look at January 6th, a lot of those people that were arrested were military people.
Yeah, military and law enforcement.
So now I want to look at the hey, military people. Hey, come here for a second. Come here. Like, what are you going to say now? I mean, this is your president in 4K basically saying, oh yeah, the Medal of Honor is, it's not even good because, the people that get it, they're dead. They got shot up a bunch of times. Like, it's not, I mean, what do you say now? But like, you'll still not only defend this man, y'all are like plotting using your military shit to try to make sure this man becomes president again. Like, what do you say now? What does he have to do? Does he have to call y'all individually by name? Hey, Rob Johnson, in Waco, Texas, you're an asshole. Like, does he have to do that? Like, what does this man have to say for you to show that he is somebody only worried about himself and his own money and his own power?
That's why people argue that MAGA is a cult.
Yes.
Because there is literally nothing he can say or do
Yes.
that will drive them out. People have lost friends, family, work, identities, everything to kind of like follow up and take up this mantle of Trump.
Yes.
And so there's basically nothing that he can do. I think people are starting to have these slow waking up, de-radicalization moments because of the way he's acting. And being like, you know what, I see so much support. So if he is this, second coming, why is he faltering like this? And again, I take it
Maybe
back to
because he's
him.
like 80 years old, or
I take it back to him getting shot and wounded. Like the idea that he is this untouchable being has been stripped away. He's vulnerable. He's just another human being. And what he represents isn't even coming true because people... I was listening to an NPR podcast and they were saying that a lot of white families are struggling in this country because they do not have a community, right? They don't have a community of people to support them. And that if they downgrade class structures, they don't have people within their community that can still connect them to that higher class.
Right.
And so if one person is not able to give them their recommendation or to give them that job, that the whole family is falling down.
Yeah.
And so for people, they're clinging to this whole cult of MAGA as like this new family and alternative to help them succeed. And that is faltering. There's no money in that. There's no jobs in that. There's no support in that. Addiction and fentanyl are still running rampant in a lot of these communities. And so they have not really seen any tangible results.
Right.
And what they're doing is blaming all of that on the Democrats who are in leadership. And they haven't really sat there and analyzed the conservatives in their own government and in their local leadership that are contributing to what's going on in their communities. I think this is going to make them do that.
Yeah.
Right. Because when we even think about, when I was reading something about like the monkeypox situation and people were talking about like, monkeypox is going to be this new pandemic. And everybody was like, yeah, because y'all as Republicans fought the CDC and all the health departments for the past 3 years. So now we're in this new crisis because of y'all.
Yet again.
And you can't even say
almost damn near another pandemic.
Can't even say it's Biden's fault. Y'all basically bullied this man and threatened all these CDC officials.
Right.
So we said, okay,
Can't even
live.
Yeah.
Die if you want to, I guess.
I'll get out now. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
that's where we are now. So
yeah.
and
again, and a
That's
lot
like
of them,
Jonathan Metzel's book, Dying of Whiteness.
1,000%.
Yeah, that's
because
really what it is.
I was actually going to say, because a lot of these Trumpers and MAGA cultists live in these red states where they purposely rejected health care for everybody because Obama passed it.
Didn't Trump just say if Kamala wins, everybody's going to get free health care?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's such a terrible thing.
Oh, God, no. I get to go to the hospital when I'm sick?
Like-
who would want that?
Yeah.
But again, that's right, because if Trump gets elected, he's not caring about your health.
No.
Trump is trying to lower the interest rate and give tax breaks to his friends because that's what he did the last time.
Yeah.
And when a damn pandemic came when Trump was president, he was like, y'all get y'all some Lysol and call it a day.
Yeah, more of the same.
I
Just
mean,
more
come
the same.
on, man. So it is crazy.
Remember he said drink bleach?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shut up and drink your juice.
He said, yo, there's some light. You can put some light on yourself. I mean, again, and the person who had the actual information is looking at him like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But again, we know all that. All
Drinking
this is in
bleach
4K.
is crazy.
Wow.
Trump saying that there's good people on both sides. All of these things are on videotape. All of them on tape. If Kamala Harris came out and said the Presidential Medal of Freedom was better than the Medal of Honor, they would be
They'd call for her head. Yeah.
They would tell her that she had to step down. She hates the military. She's against all the army. But then Trump says these things, and it's like it's regular.
Yeah.
It's like no big deal. And so it is wow. And again, like, to see, it's interesting because it's like now Trump's crashing out. JD Vance is becoming weirder and more irrelevant. And now Trump supporters in Congress, they're kind of crashing out too. And it's weird to me, but it just shows like how this is a white woman who is, I guess she's a congressperson. Her name is Nancy Mace. She's from South Carolina. And she was on a CNN panel where she kept repeatedly and purposely mispronouncing the vice president's name, right? And she's on a panel with people that are telling her how to pronounce this woman's name. And you can play the clip, Farouk.
Right. Kamala Harris, if
Kamala. You said this when I called you Nancy Mace. It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
Disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect
and walked
hers.
that stage 25 years ago.
You're a white woman disrespecting a black woman. That is
Dyson,
let me get in
Yes.
here because I want to play.
Right.
Kamala Harris, if
Yeah, but there was a point where she said that she would say Kamala's name any way that I want to. And I think that's when, Michael Eric Dyson, there's a longer clip. I don't know if we have that longer clip, but that's when Michael Eric Dyson, there's a longer, can you play the longer clip, Farouk?
Michael.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism.
No. You are intending.
You're a racist. Yes.
Disrespect
Yes.
of Kamala Harris.
That's racist.
Hang on one second.
Disrespect.
Why
It's
can't you just,
offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's
why can't you just,
offensive. That is
I'm not calling you a
disgusting.
racist. I'm
You
telling
are.
you what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You
Hang on
absolutely
one second. The
do.
practice
Let me get in here.
No, what's disgusting
That
is your disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do
It's
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
Why do you don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women?
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25
and
years ago,
respected
I
your
became the
humanity.
first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I
So call
fought
her name
my way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Blood, sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually pronounce her name
And
right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala.
All right, you can pause it now. Yeah, again, obviously you're educated.
Kamala, like the what you call it, the grammar marking and la. But I do think it's very interesting to watch someone do victim white women tears in real time, and then have to react to people not caring about those tears. Was kind of like, this is how you have to engage people. Instead of saying, "Oh my God, you're not racist. I would never call you racist. Oh my God, I don't know why. Please don't get upset." I was like, listen, you don't have to be racist to enact racism. You don't have to be a bigot to enact bigotry.
Yes.
But what you were doing is wrong, and here is why it's wrong.
Yes.
To see that and to have those guys literally, while coddling her, tell her you're not about to disrespect a black woman. I was like, yes, love it.
Yes.
But I think it also shows that, like, this idea that in order for us to have unity, we have to, as black and brown people, be disrespected and disregarded. I want us to move away from that.
Absolutely.
Because it's this idea that, like, in order to understand each other and we have to come together. But it's like, we're coming together. You could call me everything but a child of God. Say I'm this, I'm that.
Right.
And then I have to not respond to your ignorance.
Right.
And still advocate for my own humanity. Absolutely the F not.
Right.
And I do hope that as we create more multicultural conversations, that we stop allowing white bigots and their allies and supporters to disrespect and demean black and brown folks. Like, if I was Abigail, and this is why I don't really like her as a CNN anchor. If I would have been like, you're not about to disrespect someone on my show. Like, stop. You can have your viewpoint, but either say her name right or call her the VP. That's why I used to tell people when I was running classes and people were trans, and I had employees who wouldn't call them by their name. If you're not going to call them by their name, call them by their title and keep it on. You're not disrespecting someone in front of me at this place. It's not going to happen. And so I do think that this idea that we're going to see more panels and pundits, but we got to stop allowing the disrespect.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it kind of goes back to, and we mentioned, Jasmine Crockett when she, clapped back at Marjorie Taylor Greene and called her the bleached, blonde, bad built butch body. It was like, no, like, and that was after Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, made a comment about her eyelashes. Right. And so again, it's like, we're not with the just, you can be disrespectful to me, you could be demeaning to me, and I have to take it, I have to turn the other cheek on some Martin Luther King. No, we don't have to do that. And again, it's like, you're the first woman that graduated first in the Citadel. That means you're educated. That means you understand pronunciation. But again, it's like, if you're not going to call Kamala by her right name, I'm going to just call you Karen Grace. Okay, Karen.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Karen. I'm not going to call you Karen Grassi. Like, I mean, again, it's like, but it's always this thing of like, these white people, particularly these like white supremacist conservative folks, you want people to respect the office of the president only when it's somebody that you respect. Only when it's a Republican. And so when it was George Bush or when it was Donald Trump, we need to respect them because they're the president, right? But then when it's Barack Obama, you know what I'm saying? Or it's, here comes Kamala Harris, like, we can just disrespect them all the time. Or all the disrespect they have for Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? But again, I do love the fact that you mentioned that, Miracle, that these black men was like, hold on now. Why can't you call this woman her name. And then Michael Eric Dyson actually took it back to a time where you as a white woman, you didn't have to respect black people.
Yeah.
You could call them whatever you want. You could call them Joe or, they would just give us names. You know what I'm saying? Because we were their service. They didn't care, what your names were. I mean, here's Donald Trump mixing up his black people. He don't know what black dude was on the helicopter with him that almost went down and really doesn't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Did you have a comment on Michael Eric Dyson and Nancy Mace?
That shit was whack.
I have a comment.
Thank you, Treble.
I think it's interesting that she tweeted that these boys are so easily
Yes,
triggered.
these boys.
Yeah, but then we witnessed how when he was trying to address her disrespect of Kamala, she got triggered by thinking that she was being called a racist.
Yes.
And then wouldn't even let bro speak without speaking over him.
Absolutely.
I don't get why, like, if you're going that far into racism, why you can't just be okay with being called a racist. It would probably help you out to just be like, you know what? Yeah, I am.
I think it is. I think like for them, it's like this is how this is this white woman that's used to being coddled and protected and, kind of like Miracle said, your tears being validated. So in your mind, like she actually feels like she has the authority to call a black person by whatever name that she wants to. And so when you say to her, this comes from, the reason you think that comes from a history of white supremacy and comes from folks like your ancestors doing this for years to black people. And it's like, it's her not really want to address the reality of why she thinks that way. Oh, I got black friends. Well, okay, your black friends. Do any of your black friends have, more ethnic sounding names? And do you take the time with your black friends to make sure you pronounce their names correctly? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Like now, if you go, when you meet with the president of China or the president of India or the president of Japan or the president of these countries, do you make sure that you pronounce their names correctly?
I remember seeing this meme. This was years ago when the show was still popping. It was like, if white people can pronounce Daenerys Targaryen, then they can pronounce your name.
Or what was the guy's name? Zach Galifianakis.
If
you can pronounce
or
that,
any of the
name.
hockey players' names.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also think that it is a cultural thing in the sense that we don't teach people phonetic sounding anymore.
Yeah.
And we don't, like I always said that in colleges in the first year, onboarding and orientation, you should require the phonetic spelling of people's names. So you get used to understanding there are other names that you're not used to.
Right.
And actually that's someone like with a speech impediment, I mispronounce stuff with a quickness.
Yes.
And I also give people names that aren't theirs all the time because like my brain is like, that was like a Jim. I'm just call that person Jim. But so I think it's this whole cultural response. And again, it is white supremacy.
Yes.
Because we are taught that other cultures' names do not matter. They're not as, even when we think about like, AAVE, we even demonize black names.
Absolutely.
And attach education and family and parental structure to the names that people have all the time. And so it is cultural trigger, as one of my mentors like to say.
Absolutely.
But like you did it on purpose. Like don't, and it's like, somebody wrote about it and I don't know who it was. I think it was on CNN maybe, but they're saying, is this what Republicans are intentionally doing, is mispronouncing her name? Because some people may not have known it, but like this is your colleague.
Right.
This is different between like, a random person, a politician.
Yes.
This is someone you work with on the Capitol.
Yeah.
Like this is your coworker for all intents and purposes. Why are you disrespecting your coworker like that?
Yes. And again, it's like for her to be like, oh, and that's always their go-to is like, what's a woman? Like that's like, oh, we gotcha. What's a woman? Like that's a go-to. But again, it's like if she had said like, oh, I apologize. I want to make sure I pronounce her name right, because it should be your issue with her should be policy-wise, right? Yeah. It should be, I disagree with the direction or the policies they have. And it's like, that would actually make you a more formidable foe when it comes to that. But when you say, I'm not even going to pronounce her name right, you actually come across as even more racist. Absolutely. It's like, okay, so now I can't even approach you with no respect if you're not going to approach me with respect. You know what I'm saying? We matching energy nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's 2024. We not over that, like, oh, we just going to try to be the perfect representation of blackness. We ain't doing that. You disrespect us, we going to disrespect you. Now what? You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's very interesting when people always talk about like they don't know what a woman is, because even yesterday when you saw the hijabi woman being attacked at the DNC for holding up the protest sign when Joe was speaking, or you see
She was attacked?
They were protesting. The man hit her.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that. Damn.
Thank you, Joe sign. Or when
shit.
Or when it's like black women dying of childbirth, or when it's these women, I think AP did a report, so hundreds of women have been turned away from getting medical care.
Yes.
Simply because doctors are saying that it's illegal to have an abortion in their area, and they're so far along in whatever medical situation that they may have to perform an abortion. That's okay. Like, that's the
don't care about those women.
You don't care about those women.
No.
Those women can die.
Yeah.
The homeless women people are getting evicted, those women can die. The migrant women, those who are being assaulted, they can die and get harmed. The elderly women, those are fine.
The woman who spoke last night that was a victim of rape and could not get an abortion, I think she was 12 years old when this happened.
Oh my days.
Don't care about her neither.
From a family member, right?
Yeah.
And so we're talking about this. This is one of the things that people like to use trans people as this gotcha moment.
Right.
But for the women who are living and dying, the women you claim to care about, you have no care.
No care.
No empathy and no policies for them. So I don't even care when people go, oh, you don't know what this is. No, because you do not see women as human beings. You do not see women as people who need to be protected under the Constitution. So whatever you define it as is absolutely irrelevant, because at the end of the day, you're still just going to let them die and wither away. And so you upholding white supremacy by trying to weaponize womanhood isn't even something that matters anymore, because you are literally just engaging in the death and destruction of people. And you want to talk about, you were at the Citadel, the Citadel that was assaulting people, the Citadel that had hate crime allegations, that Citadel. So like, please, girl, no.
And it's also this thing, because that was the whole JD Vance talking about families, and it's like, oh, but all of the votes in your policies, like, you're not helping families. You don't want the child tax credit, which will actually help families.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want people to have children, but then like, you don't even want them to get like lunch at school if they can't afford it. I mean, it's crazy. And then I don't know. I mean, now they're saying like people that are supporting JD Vance are carrying around like cups.
Please stop.
I pre that. Yo, that is.
And again,
it's not the flex you think it is, man. None of this is.
When folks are saying you're weird,
that's what we talking about.
And then you're walking around with like a sperm cup.
Like, how do you even order that?
To try to troll somebody that can't have a child.
Like, this is
that is very weird. That's very cultish. Like, okay.
Not just there's a whole bunch of adjectives that we could throw at you. There's just a litany of them.
Yes.
And I mean, it.
Yes.
That has to be the most bizarre thing that I've seen in a campaign tactic in my entire life.
And mind you, we're talking about the most bizarre president and vice presidential nominee in the history of bizarreness. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I like stand culture like the next person. I am engaged when people are really excited about a thing. So I like it. But I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over the hair stands and their coconuts, because I really hate that they making the price of coconuts increase, and they're not even using the coconut correctly. Like, people out here buying stuff. Like, why are you buying coconut water? Like, no, you don't even like it. You're not even gonna drink the whole container. Stop. But like, it was the taping of the ear. I'm like, maybe that's a little
yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Wouldn't wear a mask, but we'll wear the tape on the ear.
It's wild, because now one of the reasons that Trump he hasn't been speaking outside. So it's like, now he's going to be speaking outside, but he's going to have the bulletproof thing.
The
so
Pope
again,
window.
It's kind of like, oh, you kind of scary, huh? You know what I mean? I thought it was fight.
And it's just like,
I mean, couldn't you say that's kind of being smart?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
I mean,
the presidential culture has always just been different. But you're a smart punk. What?
Punk.
Oh,
now you got to get your bulletproof glass. I thought it was fight. I thought you was a tough
I
guy.
thought you said a pump. I was like, wait, what?
Oh no.
I thought you said too.
No.
I was like, oh, not again.
I mean, I guess
no.
if you have a JD Vance
Please.
cup.
Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. I try to save it. No.
I'm saying.
No.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Oh my God.
We don't know what's in them. I mean, I don't. But speaking of stan culture, Miracle.
Jesus, bruv.
Speaking of stan culture, somebody that Miracle is stan.
Why you get so happy when you say this?
Somebody that
I
Miracle
never
has
seen him
stan.
very happy until it's something that he knows is gonna bring me pain.
Somebody that Miracle has stand on this show a lot. Pled guilty. And it's so funny how like when he was in his prime, he was
amazing.
grabbing all the headlines.
Yeah.
Remember, he brought the baby. He like brought a baby to deflect him from like getting asked real questions. And so George Santos.
Yeah, whose baby was that, by the way? Like, where is this child now? How come no one was concerned for the well-being?
How much did you pay for that baby, George?
Right.
So George Santos, who scammed his way into a congressional seat.
Scam God.
Lied and scammed, has pled guilty to acknowledging lies and blaming ambition for coming his way to Congress. So George Santos, it says, who spun lies about his life into an 11-month stint in Congress, pleaded guilty Monday to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. It said he's likely to spend 6 years in prison and owes more than $570,000 in restitution. Miracle, we know you were one of
These political prosecutions got to stop. Free George till it's backwards.
Wow.
Literally, I mean, America is founded on crime and violence. A little theft here, a little stealing there,
a little
like,
lies.
You know, just a little lie.
So you think he should drop the charges on Trump?
I mean, what I was saying is, I think George should.
Yes,
like
George.
I think George was like fun, right? He shook things up a little bit. Just let him pay his restitution and go about his day. Like
It says Santos went to great lengths to defend himself, once saying that he was Jewish, not Jewish.
Crazy.
Remember
I watched Seinfeld.
Hey, yo,
I eat bagels.
Do you know what?
Wow.
I
I'm
knew
Jewish.
he was going down when he wore.
Not Jewish.
They said he used campaign funds to buy those Ferragamo shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was either the Ferragamo shoes or belt, and he went to the campaign press conference.
In them.
And then, like,
Wearing
he
them.
was like, you listen.
Wearing them. Gonna look good.
That's what I'm gonna do. But no, I think that the reason they are prosecuting him, obviously because he committed crimes, but because they saw like other people realize like you could scam your way into Congress, and you get health care for the rest of your life, you get a pension for the rest of your life, and they were like, no.
Does he still get that, or?
Yeah.
It says U.S. Attorney Breon Peace said Santos, in pleading guilty, told the truth after years of telling lies, and that truth is he is a criminal.
He's a crook.
Wow. But again, like, if lying gets you 6 years, Trump should be having life in prison. I mean, all this dude,
multiple life sentences.
All this dude does is like,
But
it's
why
almost like
6 years? He didn't kill anybody. He didn't stop. Like there were allegations, but he didn't get
victimless
prosecuted.
crimes.
You know,
but it's like just let him pay his restitution.
The people of New York that he represented
and go about his business.
But this is the problem, Miracle. This is what it is. It's just he didn't have the good enough lawyers. I mean, that's really what it is.
The problem is
he afford
he
all them lawyers
crime before he got his lawyers.
Oh, is that what
and
it was?
had he had lawyers, they would have told him basic. It's kind of like the dude in DC who just got I think it's a Travis or whatever.
Oh yeah,
who just got arrested. He took $15,000 cash.
Yes,
in an envelope, bro.
Oh wow!
You should have just created a pack, my guy.
Yeah,
like you get a lawyer, you get lawyers to help you scam. Yes. That is why you have all of these. You have and
he thought he was Clay Davis.
You know, all these people.
I would take money if they giving it.
Yeah. You gotta, if you are going to commit crime,
yes,
you gotta be like, this is what I want people to do. How can we do it legally?
Okay, this is Miracle Jones, Esquire.
No, I don't do that. I don't do nothing with money.
Teach us how to avoid.
I don't do money. I don't do scams. No. But I'm just saying, like the idea, like Trump had his lawyers talk about his haircut is a business expense. His clothes are a business expense.
True, yeah.
There's ways that you set things up
Yes.
so legally
Yes.
you can claim them. For him, he didn't do that.
He did not do that.
At the front, he should have done that. He was using people's addresses. There was somebody he was stealing people's credit card information, including a colleague. He had a colleague's mother's credit card information.
Yes.
Like, I get it. I'm just saying, like, 6 years. I feel like 6 years is a lot.
Yes.
Like, get him some house arrest. Let him write or whatever.
I mean, you know, he's going to come back.
$500,000. Let
Miracle.
him just pay.
He's probably not going to do all of
Imagine
it.
George Santos in federal prison.
Yes. And I'm happy about That's what I wanted the whole time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, that's what you get.
Prisons. I don't like people going to prison.
That's what you get. I mean,
people going to jail.
I get it. I guess, like, to me, when you traffic in that level of racism, like, and white supremacy,
Correct.
then that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it always looks different when it's George Santos instead of Donald Trump. Remember, the guy who got the most time for January 6th, the Puerto Rican dude that wasn't even there. You know what I'm saying?
What was his name?
I don't know, but I mean, he's under the prison right now.
They got newer people coming. But I feel like George Santos probably going to get 6 years. The scam in New York pastor is probably going to get like triple that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I also think
1,000%.
that like sometimes
He deserves it too. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Using Jesus' name.
to steal money from people.
In
Listen,
Jesus' name, we scam.
that Gucci suit. Listen, the Lord told him he needed a Gucci suit, okay? But like, I feel that sometimes these conservatives, they commit crimes, they get these lowball sentences, and people get outraged about these lowball sentences. And then black and brown people who do the same thing then get these triple year sentences because of that,
1,000%.
because of the outrage. And that's why I'm always like, no, like, let's keep people, these high profile cases, low sentencing, so then that become, those low sentences become the standard for everyone. That is just like, you know, my thing. But you know, it's a sad day. I was sad. I like George, I'm gonna write him a letter. I will say that, like, I don't ask anybody I know who runs for office for any favors.
Yeah.
And
Me
like,
neither.
I saw Summer and I was like, listen, if you see him can you just tell him hi for me? I was like, just for me, just be like, I have a constituent who loves you. And she was like, no, Miracle, I will not.
Thank you, Summer.
I will not
Thank
do
you
that.
for not doing that.
But still, but I don't know. I just like, I kind of like it when people have a mirror shown up to them. Majority of people in Congress are scammers and liars and sell out their communities for money all the time. And so, like, for me, that's who George was. He just showed people like how corrupt, you know, the offices are. And he gave a show. There were stunts.
Yeah, well, it's I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe he'll have a reality TV show in federal prison. Maybe I mean, you know, he's coming out. He's gonna write a book. He got time to write his book.
Yeah, he gets.
There's gonna be some.
Stabbed in these federal.
There's gonna be. I mean, Derek Chauvin did. I mean, shout out to whoever stabbed him. You know what I'm saying?
It was like they said it was a Mexican, so everybody was like, we're all Mexican now.
Shout out to them, black and brown unity. I love it. And then also shout out. Speaking of, when I think of black and brown unity, I think of the song "Fuck Donald Trump" by YG. Shout out to YG.
Yeah,
but you know, some black excellence for YG.
Oh, for
YG.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
That is YG's song, and YG helped to institute a bringing together of two gangs, a peace treaty between gangs in Compton, California. They kind of came together. They did a march together to show their unity. And so just shout out to YG, man, for, you know, utilizing his celebrity to help reduce the violence in his community. That's some real black excellence. We do have a black male. We got a letter. You know what I'm saying? From R.A. Stofield. It says, I enjoy the program This Week in White Supremacy that I watch on Free Speech TV. I'm entertained and educated. I love the humor. And he also sent us a donation to One Hood Media. Shout out to Mr. Stofield, a veteran for peace. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support, and we appreciate the donation to contribute to the work that we do here at One Hood, helping our community. And did you want to highlight our white pages, Mr. Saeed?
B.A. Revo Luton.
It's revolution. Do we have the Nancy Mace brother? Yeah, make sure you pronounce this black woman's name right, brother.
Be a Revolution by Ajioma Oluo. New York Times bestselling author. So you want to talk about race. So you want to talk about race is a dope book.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic book. And this is the follow-up. how everyday people are fighting oppression and changing the world, and how you can too. And the thing is, we always talk about there are so many different ways to be an activist. There's so many different ways to be a cultural organizer. Not everybody has to protest, because if everybody's out there protesting and getting locked up, who's going to bail everybody out? So there are multiple different ways that you can that you can advocate for revolution. There's multiple different ways that you can advocate for your community and for ending systemic oppression and white supremacy that do not just involve being out there on the protest line.
1,000%. Be a revolutionary. That's what we're striving to be every day. Any final words? Anything we got going on? We got the big
back to school bash on Friday.
Back to school Fridays on deck. Back to school bash. I think it's from like 3 to 7 or 3 to 9. It's
Something
a different
like that,
time,
yeah.
but it's going to be huge. It's going to be a bunch of giveaways, a bunch of food. We're participating as One Hood with a lot of other organizations on the East End to celebrate and support the young people in East Liberty that are going back to school. So shout out to all those organizations that are coming together to support that. So that'll be this Friday at Liberty Green, and really all up the street, down the street is going to be a lot going on. So shout out to that. Anything else?
Now that all these children are coming back, outside again.
Yes.
If your child is sick, please keep them home.
Miracle, they've been home for 3 months.
I know. No,
them children didn't go to school.
This individual I know sent their child, another parent sent their child with strep throat.
Oh, no.
To school.
No. That's
so
negative.
again, and the flu. Yeah. If your child is sick, keep your child at home.
Please.
Because
Yes.
we trying to fight as many pandemics as possible.
Yes.
Right now. 2, please teach your child to wash their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And to cough in their elbows.
Yes.
Because people like me see your nasty little children. See your untrained children.
Those little petri dishes.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, and that has like, hey, sweetheart, that's how you. And then y'all get mad at me for teaching your child how to have good, sanitation practices. So again, just please wash your hands, season your elbow, and let's have a good school year. Let's turn up. Let's learn. Let's practice our knowledge and exercise the things that we are learning, and have a good school year.
We are over time. We do have some breaking. It says that the reporting is. It says on U.S. peace negotiations between Israel and Gaza, the reporting is that former President Trump is on the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel, urging him not to cut a deal right now because it's believed that it would help the Harris campaign.
Correct. He's been saying that, and I
that is a crime.
That is
correct. But I've also told people this before. Nobody listens to me, but Trump has told people, "Oh, don't wait. No, if you vote for me, November 6th, there'll be a ceasefire." And so I think this is again why Harris needs to break from Biden. I think it is her to be like, you know what? Thank you, Joe. Goodbye, Joe.
Yes.
We are ushering the new world. And, just come out and be like, we've got to have peace, and this is what we're going to do. And we will arms embargo, no matter what country you are. If you do this, gone. Money, support, Russia, stop it now, or I will make you stop it, and just move on. Because we really do not have to wake up to people dying every day. And I think of the conversation, I know we're out of time, that we had over the weekend with that gentleman when he was like, how do we stop people from dying?
Yes.
We just have to start answering that question and acting on it. How do we stop people from dying? I think the little girl who was killed here in Homewood, from a car accident.
Absolutely.
All these things, we wake up every day and we're losing so many people. And that should be our focal point. How do we stop people from dying? Not what's politically expedient, not what's going to line our bank accounts, not what's going to get us reelected. How do we save lives?
Absolutely. And that's kind of what Warnock talked about. Real quick, this is a Donald Trump tweet. Kamala put violent illegals, convicted felons back onto the street. And then somebody said, you realize you're a convicted felon, right? like nigga, you on the street, okay?
Call us
Trump.
Inside the house.
Any final words, Trouble?
Never lose sight.
Farouk?
No.
Oh, you don't have a fact?
Oh, yeah. Sharks are older than trees.
Okay.
Peace, y'all. This week in White Supremacy, One Hood.